close up. As we get closer to winter, a lot of drivers have road conditions on their minds, and we're seeing crews work hard on projects like the widening of I-93 before the weather turns. Here to talk about New Hampshire's biggest infrastructure needs and what projects are already in the pipeline is State DOT Commissioner Victoria Sheehan. Commissioner, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So obviously it's the turning of the season, and we have a lot of people heading out on the roads now in winter weather conditions. It's kind of a state pastime to complain about plowing and whatnot, but what message would you have to the drivers now, where it seems like we have these crashes so regularly when people aren't really adjusting to what the weather is outside?
Really, we just ask that people slow down. Even though the conditions may appear to be such that you can travel at the speed limit, if there is any precipitation, just drive as appropriate for the conditions. Make sure you're leaving plenty of space between you and the vehicle in front, and allow that little bit more travel time to get to your destination. That's all we can stress.
Right. Congress passed a 5-year highway bill earlier this year, and we have President Trump saying he wants to invest in infrastructure. Can we expect anything? Obviously, it's hard to know yet, but above and beyond what that 5-year bill was, can we hope for any more in the budget federally to come this way to New Hampshire?
Well, we're watching the situation closely, and we're excited to hear that transportation and infrastructure investment is a priority for the new administration. We already have seen an increase in investment in New Hampshire, both at the federal level with our regular federal program growing slightly, and then also we were able to secure a federal loan that is actually helping us pay for the completion of the widening of I-93. So this year was actually a record-breaking year for us. We've been busy advancing all of our projects in design, and we last year advertised over $375 million worth of projects that are all in construction currently and will continue through next season.
And there is so much work going on for the average motorist. Myself, you notice this stuff, especially big doings there around Exit 5 on I-93. Where do you stand in terms of your goals, long and short term, with that project, where you are right now and where you want to be?
So the widening of I-93 has been a multi-year project. We have just advertised the last of the 4 contracts that were associated with this federal loan. All of that work will be under construction next summer through 2020, and that's when the full widening of the main line on 93 will be complete.
Looking ahead right now, are there other big projects people should be aware of? You're talking all the way out to 2020 already, but what's sort of in the pipeline for you guys right now?
So we've been very fortunate because of the gas tax increase. We've been able to expand our program across the state. So we're doing a lot of smaller bridge replacement projects as well as additional paving. This year alone, we're able to do almost 700 miles of paving and pavement preservation, which is key in terms of addressing the backlog of investment that we've seen in our pavement infrastructure in particular. That being said, we still advance the major projects. We're still working on the widening of the Spalding Turnpike between Dover and Newington, and doing larger bridge projects like the Sarah Mildred Long in partnership with the state of Maine.
One of the sort of catchphrases we hear a lot is about this deferred investment, the things that we have not done over the last few decades. Is there like a stack basically on your desk that you have in the back of your head or something like that, where you're thinking this is the work we need to do? You're talking about those roads that are outlined, perhaps North Country, those things. How important is it to try and get some of those things done, even as we do work on major projects like the Sarah Long and 93?
As we've worked through our 10-year planning process, we've been stressing the need to preserve our existing infrastructure while we continue to play catch up. And really we've been focused on the lower volume roadways, what we consider the higher tier numbers, the tier 3 and 4, with tier 1 and 2 being our interstates and our divided highways. We want to make sure that we have a transportation network that's in good condition. And I think historically we've prioritized the high volume routes that impact the most New Hampshire residents and visitors, but we have to make sure that we're bringing those other roads up to the same level of condition as well.
If the governor's race was any indication, voters weren't too keen on the idea of adding commuter rail into the mix here in New Hampshire, but that's still something that's kind of on the horizon long term. You've been on the other side of the line down at MassDOT, and seeing how all of that stuff works. From the financial perspective you have with your NHDOT budget and what you would have to essentially contribute, does commuter rail make sense to you in the long term?
I think it's important that we continue to look at different modes and have a multimodal transportation network. We do have a robust freight network in the state. We've been working with our rail operators to try and upgrade the track to carry heavier car loads to improve our freight service. And so we do continue to look at all different modes. Really, we respond to what our citizens are asking for. And when we've gone out across the state and talked about transportation investment needs, we are hearing that people want to see more investment in public transit and potentially for us to explore passenger rail. And so we continue to work closely with communities, with the regional planning commissions, and with the legislature to help prioritise needs. It's a constant balancing act. We want to preserve what we have while we look at these new services and try to make sure that we are adapting and have a network that will serve us into the future.
And on the rail front there, one of the interesting projects that was being worked on to the south, and maybe you were involved with this, they want to extend Boston to Montreal high-speed rail, and we will kind of touch that a little bit with Claremont being on the Vermonter line. Is there any way that New Hampshire can kind of benefit if somehow in the next 4 to 8 years, if that high-speed rail line is completed between Boston and Montreal, can Claremont take advantage of that in any way?
I think New Hampshire residents have benefited from the expansion of rail service. The Downeaster is a successful service. You talk about the service to Claremont. So certainly residents in New Hampshire are using passenger rail as an option for travel.
All right. Kind of a little off topic here, but if you could sort of wave a magic wand and fix one thing infrastructure-wise in New Hampshire, what would it be right now in terms of top priority?
I think just to continue to do the routine things. We are in this situation because we didn't always have the funding to keep our assets in good condition. So across the board, whether we're talking about maintaining our own fleet of equipment, which is critical to the work that we do, we're talking about transit fleet to continue to provide the existing services, or the condition of our roads and bridges, we need to make sure that we're preserving. In the long run, that's how we spend the dollars most efficiently. If we can keep an asset in good condition, it is much cheaper than allowing it to deteriorate and having to replace it entirely or fully rehab it, depending on the circumstances. And so I look to the future and make sure that even as we build new infrastructure, we're budgeting sufficient dollars to keep that infrastructure in that good condition.
Commissioner Victoria Sheehan, thanks so much for your time here on Close Up. We appreciate it.
Nice to see you.
All right.